Hello, welcome to another video. Today we're talking about how and when is the right time to delegate tasks and start hiring on new people onto your team. I know this is a little advanced for some people, especially if you're just getting started into this world, but I think that it's still really important to know when to start growing your business. So let's just jump right into it. So before we talk about when is the right time to start delegating tasks and how to do that, let's talk about the importance of delegating tasks. The first one is that it enhances your productivity. When you are not spending time doing things that other people can do, then you can focus and you can start being really productive on the things that you need to get done. The next thing is that it allows you to specialize in something. You can start focusing on the things that you feel really passionate about and actually start to specialize in that and really focus on like your skills and crafting that. So for me personally, it's like creating videos and really diving into learning how certain things work within my business and then making a really good video to share with you. But if I have to work on like all my emails, then that kind of takes away from the time that I can really specialize in my craft. So it really provides those opportunities to develop your skills and advance in your specialty. And it also enables effective time management. Time management is probably the hardest thing to grasp, especially when you are doing everything on your own. It's a little bit of that, a little bit of this. And really when you're not managing your time wisely, you're not getting things done in an effective and efficient way. Once you have a grasp on time management, you can really strategically make, positive decisions for your business because you're not stressed about all the things that you have to do. You can actually think about everything thoroughly and make wise decisions for your business. It also is actually going to help you and your team, once you actually have a team, build and increase morale and engagement, which will in return keep people longer doing the job that they want to do. So if you're just thinking about for yourself specifically, okay, so for job satisfaction, if you're thinking about just yourself specifically, what is important in your job is you liking what you're doing and wanting to do it long term, right? Like you don't want to have to keep changing jobs or keep changing, the type of content you're making. You want to really be excited about everything that you're making. And if you have to be stressed and worried about every little thing that you need to be doing, you're not gonna have job satisfaction. And same with your team. Once you start building your team and delegating certain tasks to the team members that are most passionate about it or really best suited for that, once you start doing that, you'll be able to see that people are happy long term and you won't see that turnover rate where people aren't happy and they feel overwhelmed. So that's one thing that's really important and why it's important to delegate. Delegating also is great for collaboration. And I think that it's really important, especially in this type of job, we're all kind of very independent and we're doing things alone. We don't necessarily always have a team around us. We don't really work with people unless you're doing content with other people. But for the most part, I think a lot of us are doing this on our own. So it is kind of like lonely per se, but it's been shown that working in a team really helps business thrive. So once you start delegating tasks, it encourages collaboration, and whether that's working with other people like yourself, like you reaching out to other creators and being like, hey, like how can we work together? Or you with your team and being able to bounce ideas off each other, that really will help your business grow. So that's something that's helped me a lot with delegating some tasks and building my business with other employees is I'm able to bounce ideas off people, and collaboration is just so important to a business because you want to see things from a different perspective or from all perspectives. And bouncing off of that, it drives innovation because there are multiple hands in a project. It helps you, like I said, see things from other perspectives and then gather new ideas that you wouldn't be able to think about on your own. What's great with my assistant, Katiana, is that we bounce ideas off each other all the time and we really get to come up with some cool creative video ideas, and it sparks a ton of new fresh ideas basically. And the last but most important one, it increases overall efficiency. So if you're trying to get, projects done, you're trying to pump out a lot of content, you're trying to do a lot of marketing, you need people to help you with that. You are not going to be effectively getting a lot done if it's just you forever. Like, there's only so much you can do. So really, it's gonna help you be able to do more, to have more hands on deck. So now let's talk about what delegating is. Delegating is simply giving some of the tasks that you have on your plate to somebody else. So there are two things that I now delegate. One is video editing when I can't and don't have time to video edit. And then the second one is everything that Katyana does, which is like admin stuff. And we'll kind of get into it, but she is my virtual assistant because she doesn't live in my area. So she is a virtual assistant, but she's just my assistant. And so those are the things. So basically delegating is just giving a task that you would normally do for your business to somebody else because you don't have time for it. So the next part of this is identifying what tasks need to be delegated. Like I said, something that takes up a lot of time is video editing. Having someone edit your videos really saves a lot of time. And the next one is, for me, it was emails. A lot of my emails were taking up so much hours a week just responding to emails, and I feel like it was taking away time that I could spend with my students that I teach. If you don't know, I teach other people how to do OnlyFans and other work platforms. It was taking away from content creation, like actually filming videos and writing down, I write down a whole list of the topics that I'm going to talk about in a video. So it was, and also my research on what is working for this type of work and creating content for OnlyFans. It was taking away from all of that. So, and also another thing was building out my calendar. So every single week I would build out what I'm gonna work on that week and what videos I was gonna do and video ideas and all of that. So now that's stuff that Katyana does. She builds out my week and my schedule, and she puts, on this block you're gonna do OnlyFans creation. On this block, you're gonna make TikToks. On this block, you're gonna do this. And she lays it all out on my calendar for me because we have an online, I can see it. And then she also comes up with video ideas and topics and all of the above, and anything creatively that I don't really have time for because I'm actually making the content, she can help me with that. So those are all things that you can think about delegating. You can also hire out management for your OnlyFans if you wanted to. I don't recommend it, but I don't not recommend it. If you want to, you can try it. But also you can just hire chatter if you wanted to. You can find that on places like Fiverr, or I'm sure there's plenty of other places where you can just search in, job type of things, what you're looking for, and hire people for certain tasks if you need help. You can also hire out, sometimes I hire out photographers when I want to do a full photo shoot. If you haven't seen, I do have a video of one of the shoots that I shot, and I hired the photographer for that because sometimes shooting by yourself can be very, very difficult. So those are all things that you can hire out and you can delegate to other people. And then also editing photos. There's tons of things, really. You can hire social media managers to help you with that because they specialize in that. So there are plenty that you can delegate. And so now let's talk about finding the right person for the job. I think that sometimes it's a test, a trial, you have to try different things out, and maybe it's not always going to be a hit. Maybe you are going to hire someone and it's not going to be a good fit, and you just have to keep going until you find the right people. But I think that part of that is putting a job offer up and interviewing people. I took my time really with Katyana. I knew right away I did want to hire her, but when I first interviewed her, we had, written back and forth on email, and then we had a video call, and then it actually took a few months, mostly because I was a little bit worried at that time to spend money on somebody else working for me. It was definitely a scary step to take, but I will say it did help me a lot. And once you do take that step, you realize you can make more money, and that investing in yourself will help you make money. I think that was the hardest part, is I work so hard for my money. I'm scared to then give it to someone else. Am I going to be able to make more money by doing that, or is it just going to be taking away? So that was kind of like the struggle. But I think when you have more time to make quality work, then you will eventually make more money and it will be helpful in the long run. So, but I took my time with it. You know, I really thought it through. I interviewed her. I told her I needed a few months, and then I literally took, I think it was like 2 or 3 months until then I called back out to her and I said, hey, if you are still looking for a position like this, it is open and I would like you to have it. So really take your time with it. If you need to search around and interview a lot of people and come back to it and see if they're still available, then do it. Take your time with it, really. And you can even hire somebody for like one-off things where you just hire them for maybe one video that you edit, or maybe one project, and you just see how they are. And then if they're really good at it, then you can hire them full-time. And it's the same with like if you wanted to hire a management team, you could say, you know, I'd love to work with you for a week, see how things go, and then if I want to work with you guys long term, then we can do that. I know for me, I'm also working with someone that's helping me build out my TikTok right now because I was a little bit lost with direction. So she's helping me figure out, you know, what type of content to create and all of that. And I've had someone actually help me with that before, and I just didn't really like the strategies that she was taking. Something to think about is that, you know, no one's gonna know what you want exactly unless you tell them, unless you train them on how you want projects to be done. So really establish like clear instructions and be very open to having conversations about what you want done and how you want it done and what their skill sets are and what you feel like needs to be improved. Just have those open conversations. You definitely need to be a leader if you're gonna hire people on, because you need to be able to say, you know, this isn't working, this is working, and how you want things done, because you don't want to be unhappy like paying for something that's not working for you. So just make sure you have clear instructions, and if you need to write those instructions out and send them to the person that you're hiring or whatever it is, just make sure you're able to clearly and in a very professional way, clearly instruct somebody on what you want done. Another thing that you need to do when you hire someone is establish accountability. Make sure that you have a list of things that they need to get done every single week and what they could work on if you do like quarterly revisits and see how they're doing. Or I know for Kassiana and I, we have every 2 weeks a meeting where we discuss, you know, what needs to be done, what was done, how we're moving forward, what projects we're working on, and how those things are coming along. So you need to have some sort of system that kind of allows you and your employees to reconnect and make sure things are working smoothly and that everything is coming the way you want it to come along. And then that way you can just monitor the progress of what you're putting money into and see like, okay, is this making money for me? Is this working for me? Is this saving me time? Is this, you know, how is everything working? And are those strategies, or do these strategies need to be reconfigured, or do you need to let somebody go? Like whatever that is. And that's why you really want to keep up with how things are going. Another thing that's really important when you do hire someone on is recognizing progress and giving feedback, but also giving acknowledgement when someone's doing a really good job, because you want that person to be happy and you want them to know when they're doing a good job so that they can keep doing that good job. So you want to tell them when they're performing well and how that looks. So the last part of this video is figuring out when is a good time to start delegating. So for a few months, I was really overwhelmed with how much I had to do on my own and how I felt like I was never actually getting anything done because my list was never shortening. And I felt like every single moment of my day was being taken up, which is not how I want to live my life. Like I want to be able to have time to read or spend time with Daisy or my friends and family. I didn't want to just feel like completely exhausted. I was really overworked because I was doing like 3 different people's jobs. I was doing like all my admin work, I was doing all my editing, and I was also being the content creator and the filmer and the videographer and the photographer. I was doing too much that I felt overwhelmed. So I don't want you to get to that point. So what I would recommend is monitoring what you are doing, how much you can actually do for yourself. And once you reach a point where you're like, okay, I can do this much, but I realize that there are more things that are coming my way that I can't really take care of. I can't really do. And then that's when I would start to think, okay, do you need to hire someone out for like one-off projects? If you can't afford someone full-time, obviously, or part-time, maybe you hire someone out for certain projects. You start there. And then once you're like, okay, I'm making enough money where I can hire someone to take care of something periodically or consistently, then you start to hire out another person or like somebody part-time or a few hours a week or whatever it is. So before you get to that point where you're going to rip out your hair, just start to notice like what you can actually do, how much time you actually have for certain tasks. And if there is things coming in that you don't have time for, then that's the time to start thinking about where you can delegate. All right, so I hope this video was helpful. I'm going to list down below a ton of different options for you as to where you can hire people. And if you have any other questions, please leave them down below because I love making videos that'll help you grow your SW business. And with all that being said, I will see you in the next video. Bye.